Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about a filmmaker with a zero budget. Yes, that is on our minds today. And luckily, I have Rocco here who's going to really help us think about this in a whole new way. So, thank you so much, Rocco, for coming onto my show and sharing your time and your perspective. Let's just dive right in. When you hear those words, a filmmaker with zero budget, what does that make you think about?
Makes you think of low budget filming. Films that have little to no money to be made. And yeah, so that's pretty much what it means.
Yes, yes. And I hear that that is something exactly what you did. I mean, how did that inspire you to just make your film with barely anything in the bank for it?
Uh, well, when you're making films, you have an idea in your head and you want to put it on the screen. And luckily, in today's world, we have access to things that are pretty affordable: laptops, smartphones. There's even 35 millimeter cameras as well that you can have access to. So it's a lot easier today than it would have been, let's say, 20, 30 years ago, where you would actually have to buy film, get rent camera equipment, lights, and all that stuff. You have Amazon now. So, yes, I mean, zero budget means that you purchase a lot of stuff that you're planning to use for the next little while, and you use it over and over and over again. You find friends that will help out as well. You find actors and crew that are either students or wanting to add things to their portfolio. And that's pretty much it. What I make sure is always that there's drinks and food available at all times.
Well, that's nice. I mean, and it is nice that we live in a day and age where we can actually have a lot of it accessible. If you have a phone that has a working camera, then you can really make any type of movie, let's be honest, or you could do post anything on the internet now. So it really does make it easy. And if you do have a community like good friends and good family members or just good people who are trying to go into this industry and just are willing to just start their portfolio, like you were saying, it really does make it easier to really get a film in together. But as a director, what led you into directing?
Well, I was in music and therefore was writing short stories in the sense when you're writing songs. And then you're making music videos. So when you're making music videos, those are like short little films at the same time. So I started just writing little scenarios, little skits, little comedy skits, and things like that. And then took a few screenwriting courses and directing courses, and then decided, I've got a camera. I've got access to locations at times, whether it was a music studio or people's houses and stuff. So I said, okay, well, let's shoot something. And I find what is difficult with some people, even today, even though a lot of stuff is more accessible, is they don't have the drive. So they look at it and they say, "Well, I don't have what I need to make a film." And it's like, well, you can get free software for editing. You're able to use your smartphone. You can shoot this in your own apartment, and there's a lot of things that you can do. And but I think a lot of people just come up with excuses or they procrastinate. So they say they want to, they want to, they want to, but they always figure out a way to get out of it.
Yeah, that's very true because I mean, it's like writing a book, you know what I mean? Like everyone has a story, everyone knows it. They know that it can possibly be a movie sometimes or a TV series, but they don't actually put that work into actually making it happen and they just live it in their minds because in their minds it's entertaining, in their minds they're the funny, cool dude, but in reality they're probably not that cool, so they get scared. But yeah, I like how you just you sometimes you just have to really break it down like it's like a stepping stone. You're leading somewhere. You already started with music, you already started with writing, so then it just continues on more because your imagination is like, oh, now this is possible, but what if I do this and what if I do that? So what do you say is your genre? Where do you like to be in?
It's kind of a mix between drama and comedy, and sometimes a mix of the two. So I've, like, for example, I made a feature film which we shot in 2 days. So it was a 70-minute movie, and we shot it in 2 days. And again, I found the actors. That was the main thing. I shot it at my house, and we just said, okay, let's just shoot as much as we can, and we're not going to really focus on lighting everything perfectly. We're not going to focus on making sure that everything is in the right place. We're just going to film and see what comes out of it. And we came up with a movie which won several awards. It's streaming online, and it's just you just got to do it. People say, well, you can't shoot a feature film in 2 days. Like, it's just not possible. Yeah, it's not possible, meaning that I'm not going to get the angles I would have gotten if I had the budget and I had the ability and the time. But basically, my time, for me, even though it's precious, it's also free. I don't charge myself to do this stuff. So I take care of a lot of the music. I take care of, as the writing of it, directing of it, and put in editing and putting everything together. So I save a lot on that aspect, is because I learned over the years, even from doing music and other things, is sometimes when you're waiting on somebody else to get things done, they don't have the same passion or the same um, drive to get it done as quickly as you want to. So I always ended up becoming a jack of all trades, because I'm waiting on this. It's like, where has it been done? They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, well, when are you going to be finished? And it's like, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's like, it's been 3 months now. And it's like, we're waiting on this. And then I said, forget it. I will do it myself. And so
Yeah.
it was always, I'm going to do it myself, do it myself. So now I am doing it pretty much all myself, with the help, obviously. I mean, like right now, I have, somebody helps me out on camera work, so I don't have to deal with directing and filming at the same time. I have somebody helping me with sound, and things like that. And you just kind of build your crew. And I find that also in today's world, people tend to depend too much on social media, and I still find face-to-face networking still works way better than depending on a complete stranger on the internet. Say, can you meet me at this location at 8 p.m. We're filming something, and the person never shows up. It's like, well, when you're face to face and you start getting to know each other, then I find that you can say, well, I don't think this person is going to be there at 8 p.m. Or I can say, well, this person, yeah, seems like they really want to do this, and I can put my faith in them. So it's I still find a face to face, and meeting people and going out there and going to see other people's work as well. You have to kind of build this community. You have to you know um, help each other out, and you have to also show love to them if you want to love back.
Yeah, it's that reciprocation, you have to create some type of bond and some understanding that this is going to be a respectful environment. We're going to just get the job done and it's going to be clean, cool, and collective because you're absolutely right. I mean, you could go on Craigslist to find all the people who want to be an actor or, who are willing to do any type of job for a certain amount of money, but there's always that risk factor. And when you do that face-to-face contact, not only do you get like a mini resume because you realize so and so knows so and so and so and so knows so and so, you know what I mean? But you also get this connection, realizing like you said, like if they're reliable, will they really do it? Do they really have the interest, or they're just feeding me into what I'm doing just to keep me talking? Like you really have to weigh it out when you talk to people. And I also really loved how you said that depending on people and just outsourcing it, it really does have its longevity. I mean, you take so much more time depending on somebody else, and it does make it so much more frustrating because it was like, if I could do it, I mean, it would be done already. And so all you got to do is just watch a YouTube video or just already know instinctively, like you said, you already did music, so editing, chopping it up, I mean, putting it all together, I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't that bad. I mean, I'm with you on that because I'm doing it the same way on mine. Like I do my own editing, my own everything because it's so much easier. You know what I mean? Why? I mean, I know I could outsource it and save me some time, but at the same time, it's like you said, I know it's done. I know what to expect. I know what's coming next. I know, no, no. You know what I mean? The list is
Yeah.
already there. So yeah, I most definitely relate to you, Rocco, because when you have that vision and then you give it to somebody else, it's like they're not going to have that same vision because they don't know. You know what I mean? They don't have that same passion. They don't have that end goal. You're just a number for them. You know what I mean? You're just another thing on my to-do list I got to check off. So it's just like, I'll get to you when I get to you. It's like that pile of laundry. You know what I mean? That's in everyone's corner of their house.
Exactly.
And it's not fair because it's like you're trying to reach for it. So, when did you realize that this is a passion that you wanted to continue in versus dabbling in all the other areas that you've already dabbled into?
I mean, like everybody else, we fantasize when we watch a movie, like I'd like to be in that film, or I'd like to be an actor, or like that, kind of thing. And you're like, so I'm the type of person too that when I see something, sometimes I'll watch a movie and I'll say, how did this movie even get made?
Yeah.
It's so bad. And so you're saying, okay, and then it's like, and they got a budget, they did whatever. Like I don't, so I'm like, and then people look at you and say, oh, really? Let me see you do better. So I'm the type of a person, okay, you just gave me a challenge. So I'm going to go out and do something, and show you what you can do with nothing. And at the same time, come up with a product that's, professional, to a certain standard. Obviously, like I said, people are going to watch it and they say, okay, there's no budget. But those are the people that are the technical side. But the audience are going to watch it and say, "What do you mean? There's no budget? Like this was really good. Where did you find these people? How did you make this?" And because I found the same thing with music. It's always the people that are musicians or the engineers would point out all the little things on the song, and I'm like, but the audience loves it. So that's who you're playing for, right? That's who you're aiming for. I'm not aiming for a fellow director who's going to say, I would have done it this way, or
Yeah.
somebody else saying the same thing, saying, oh, you know what, like for example, I shot a short film last year. I shot it with 3 smartphones. I said, you know what? Why not? Let's shoot it simultaneously. We're going to shoot it in pretty much one take, but from 3 different angles. And you go, let's just do it on smartphones. That way you don't have to deal with, I need a big space, because you're going to have the big, long, big cameras, whatever. And so people are like saying, oh, you can't do that. Like, why are you doing that? I'm like, what do you mean, why am I doing that? It's like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
and no, and that movie's also streaming online. So it's like, and I turned to some of these people. I'm like, and where's your product? What have you done? And when can I see your work? And it's like, yeah, but it's because I'm waiting for. I ordered this thing, and I'm waiting for this particular
Hmm.
tripod, and I got to get this and
Hmm.
that. It's like you don't realize that
Hmm.
my smartphone on the because we shot this in a bar. I used, I think it was an ice cube tray, to kind of keep the smartphone. I turned the ice cream tray upside down and stuck it between, the two ice cubes, parts to hold it steady. It's like, here we go. I have my tripod. Put it on a couple of books, and I go, there's tripod number one. And now we're going to go tripod number two. Figure out a way to put that one there, and and that was it. And we shot that. People are like, wow, this movie's actually, again, because it's about the story, it's about the character development. So they'll watch it and they'll say, hey, the script is pretty good. And I'm like, you know what? We didn't even have a script. We improvised the whole thing. We just sat there. I said, we're doing this thing in a bar, and, we're just going to film it and see what comes out of it. And that was it. We shot it straight. I think we did like an hour of shooting. I edited it down to 20 minutes because I
Nice.
had the 3 angles. I go, this is just like a TV show, right? You have your three
Yeah.
cameras,
Yeah.
and you just basically say, I'm going to choose this, choose that, and whatever. And done. Like we shot the whole thing, like I said, like in an hour and a half, like a half hour to set up, an hour to shoot, and it came out with a 20-minute movie out of that.
Oh, I love that. I love that because it just shows that if you're a problem solver, you know what I mean? Like, oh, my problem is I don't have a tripod. And no problem because I can solve this. You know what I mean? You can figure it out one way or another. And I agree with you. When you are an artist like yourself and you have a vision, you will most definitely get it done. Like just be and like writers, just because they're not in one of those top 5 publishing companies doesn't mean that you're not a good writer because you had to self-publish or you went through another publisher that's still small. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have to worry about the technicality of the things or the behind the scenes of things because in reality it's like you said, your audience is what matters. Your audience is what feels it. Your audience is what relates to it. Your audience knows where it's coming from. And it's coming from a place of a lesson to learn, to teach, to relate, to provide that empathy, that compassion, and that understanding that also the world really needs. You know what I mean? And the only ones that, like you said, that don't understand it are the ones that want that specific like category to be qualified to be anything. They are those HOAs in individuals, the ones that are knocking at your door saying your plant is too tall, cut it. You know what I mean? Like those
Yeah,
are the ones
exactly.
that are around. So for me, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm with you, Rocco, because sometimes people just need to like loosen up and realize like, does it make you feel anything? If your eyes were closed and all you did was hear anything, could you imagine it? You know what I mean? Like, could you really imagine it there? Or if your eyes were open and you couldn't hear anything, could you still understand what's being said? Can you still understand what's where the pain is, where the joy is? You know what I mean? Because you can see all that. And I think that's the beauty of artists is that we are able to provide life in a place that doesn't seem like there's any life, you know what I mean, an opportunity because we make the impossible possible. It's truly something amazing with us artists because I'm a writer, and I know exactly what you mean. Like I thought I had to have the top tier laptop to start writing, and all I had was a notebook and a pen, and I was just like, I'm gonna just start writing my heart, I'm gonna start writing my mind, and I'm gonna start writing all these thoughts, and it just came all out of me, you know what I mean? Because I allowed it. And I think that's something that all artists truly need to think about is just like if it's in you, just let it come out of you, whatever way, shape, or form it is. It doesn't matter if you have $5 in the bank or no bucks in the bank. It's if you have that dream, if you have that passion, and if you have that drive to just touch it. You know what I mean? Just reach for it. And that's all that matters. And
Yeah,
it
you have to
sucks to
put stuff
know.
out there, right? I mean, people I
Yeah,
find are waiting for perfection, and perfection doesn't exist. Because even if you take,
exactly.
for example, like George Lucas, right? He made Star Wars, which was a great film. Then he went, years later and added CGI to the same movie and just destroyed it, right? It's sort of like it was perfect as it was, but you're always wanting to do better and better. So if I go back and look at my film that I did 5 years ago, of course I'm going to say, "Oh, well, today if I was to redo this, I would have done this." But that's like, but the thing is, I put it out there, and at that time, at that moment in time, that was what was meant to be put out. So
Yes.
you have to kind of leave it that way. You can't just keep
Yeah.
repainting the Mona Lisa, right?
Yeah.
It's there, leave it.
Because it makes you realize your stepping stone. It makes you realize your foundation. It's like architectures. They have a blueprint, you know what I mean? And then that's where they started. That's how they started. And then you look up and then you realize that's the building that where it started. You're gonna hold on to that blueprint. You're gonna hold on to that foundation. So if you only started with that Sony tiny little camera back then you're gonna hold on to it knowing that, this is where I started. And now look at me. I have phones. I have actual like things that actually people need in advances, so people just need to know that hey, it's okay to take time, but as long as you take that first step, it is the best step you're going to take, and time is truly catching up to us. And I feel like we could keep talking, Rocco, because I'm enjoying your perspective. But what can be some lasting words to keep us all thinking?
Is when you have an obstacle, don't let it stop you.
Yeah.
You have to move forward. Like even the feature film that I was mentioning, one of the actors the day before pulled out. So some people would just say, okay, you know what, let's just postpone the whole thing. But I'm like, there's a lot of people depending on this. We set the date, we're shooting it, we're going to figure out what to do. We'll take some of the script, what I wrote for that person, switch it on to other people. We'll make it work, and we did. We didn't just say, what, too bad. Let's, I don't want to be in a situation where it's like I put all these other people down, right, and say I'm sorry that we can't make this. And at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like we all committed to this. Let's put something out there, whatever it is that we put out there. Let's just do it. And I just find that's the right attitude, is to make sure that you don't let the obstacles continue to postpone what you're planning to do. Just figure out another way, or figure out a way to adapt to the situation and make it happen.
Absolutely, because in life we really need to become adaptable. And that's one thing I always say. If you are adaptable, then you're winning because you will be able to know how to roll with the punches, or you will know how to get out of a situation if you are uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So when you are keep going. Like you said, you were able to enhance and move and adjust just to make sure that you didn't let the greater of everybody down. Because yeah, especially with a film, it's not just one person. You know what I mean? Like a writer, okay, it's one person. Who are you gonna let down? The characters that you're writing? No, you're not gonna let them down. You know what I mean? They're in your head. They're in the book. They're not there physically with you. But it's like as a director, as a filmmaker, it's most definitely different because you have other physical beings there with you. You know, you have people in the background and people actually acting it and everybody in between. So it's truly something that people need to take into consideration. Just have that consideration of other people, you know? But yeah, has been a really great conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about Rocko, please check him out. I have access to all the great stuff that he has to offer the world. A link in the description. If you're listening on YouTube, it's in the description as well, just so that you can continue on thinking. So, with that being said, bye.